Big breaking news right now. The Indian MEA has confirmed that no unimpeded, unhindered access has been given by Pakistan earlier today during consular meet with Kulbhushan Jadhav, which means that Pakistan once again has broken the understanding and is also in breach of the ICJ verdict in spirit and letter. Let's go across to our executive editor Abhishek Kapoor joining us with more. Abhishek, the statement makes it very clear that there was actually a very intimidating posture adopted by the Pakistani officials who were present. And it also points out to the fact that there was very much a camera recording the entire proceedings.
Absolutely, Shivani. This was 12th request made by Indian side insofar as getting an unimpeded and unhindered access to Commander Jadhav was concerned, and the Pakistanis really played double games, double speak. They did not give it. A camera was put in to record the proceedings. Pakistani officers were present in an intimidating body language to hinder the conversation. They were in the hearing distance of Indian officers, and despite protests in that meeting from the Indian side that this should not happen or should not be allowed, or that this is breach of understanding, the Pakistani officers from some agencies continue to remain present there. So in effect, the entire exercise has been an exercise in futility and has been self-defeating and defeated the purposes for which it was intended. I believe, as per the statement of the Ministry of External Affairs, Shivani, the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, has spoken to the family of Kulbhushan Jadhav and apprised them of the developments. And the statement says that regrettably, however, neither the environment nor the arrangements of the meeting were in accordance with the assurances of Pakistan. The consular officers were not given unimpeded, unhindered and unconditional access to Sri Jadhav. On the contrary, Pakistani officials with an intimidating demeanor were present in close proximity of Sri Jadhav and the consular officers despite protests. So I believe the matter now really is headed to the International Court of Justice again, I believe, Shivani, and the Pakistanis are really not playing ball, despite the fact that they had brought in an ordinance to facilitate some kind of review and a reconsideration which is different from mercy plea. The manner in which this consular access has been conducted today has defeated the purpose, obviously limiting the options that are available with Commander Jadhav.
Absolutely. The very idea behind this consular access is that the accused, or in this case Kulbhushan Jadhav, who's already been sentenced to death, can speak freely. And that is the purpose of the consular access that has been defeated once again. As you mentioned, Abhishek, entire exercise has been rendered futile. The statement also goes on to say that actually the Indian officials registered a protest and were forced to leave when they realized that the proceedings, that the way that they are not going to yield to any result that they wanted.
Well, absolutely. And remember, the International Court of Justice verdict at The Hague was very clear that the manner in which Commander Jadhav has been tried in the Pakistani military courts is against the principles of Vienna Convention, specifically Article 36, against the general principles of human rights, and that apart from consular access, which is only a subset of the entire verdict, he should be given a free and fair trial within the concept of rule of law and international relations. So in that context, apart from Commander Jadhav being given options of mercy petition, the ICJ verdict had made it clear that review the process, which means give him a civilian trial. But what has happened is that with this consular access having failed and the entire exercise having come to naught, unfortunately, Commander Jadhav now only has the option of opting for a mercy plea, which was the case in terms of the press conference that was addressed by the Pakistani side a week back, where they said that that Jadhav has refused to take the other option. Now the problem with this consular access having failed is, Shivani, that since there was no proper communication with Jadhav, we cannot have a petition which can be put in as part of review and reconsideration. And this is part of a Pakistani game plan to not let India access a civilian mechanism, which was the actual spirit or intention of the ICJ verdict.
Right, Abhishek, just for the benefit of our viewers just joining us, I want to recap the very strong statement that Indian MEA has issued. In fact, one portion says very clearly, in light of these circumstances, which means that no unimpeded, unhindered access was provided, the consular officers came to the conclusion that the consular access being offered by Pakistan was neither meaningful nor credible. After lodging a protest, they left the venue. They also go on to say it is clear that Pakistan's approach to this matter continues to be obstructive and insincere. And no two better words could have been used for the way that Pakistan has handled this entire matter right from the start. They've tried to use Kulbhushan Jadhav, Abhishek, if we just broad-base this discussion, as some sort of a pawn. And all of these latest events, first saying that Jadhav doesn't want to take the review, then going on to say that India can file the review, then not giving him the kind of access that any client deserves as far as such matters are concerned. They all point to the fact that they basically want to use this as some sort of a, low-level game, diplomatically speaking, between India and Pakistan.
The statement itself begins, Shivani, by saying that over the past year, India has made over a dozen requests for consular access. In the last consular access that was provided, I believe, if I'm correct, in September last year, the entire purpose was defeated. There was a camera. There were people from Pakistani security agencies. Possibly some of them might have tortured Kulbhushan Jadhav into making that fraudulent submission and statement, which was taken under duress. And it seems the entire exercise was repeated again, despite all the efforts that have been that have gone into getting Pakistanis to give this consular access. So I believe it's double game, it's double speak. Double game in the sense that while bringing in the ordinance and trying to show that they are giving consular access, they are pandering to some kind of international sentiment. At the same time, double speak in the sense that they are not letting the spirit of the ICJ verdict guide their conduct. So in that sense, they have been obstructionist, they have been insincere, they have been dishonest, and the entire exercise has come to a knot. And remember, July 20 is the day, the last day, as per the Pakistani law, by which Commander Jadhav can, or Kulbhushan Jadhav can, apply for a mercy petition. And now, with the consular access having failed and the Indian side not having the possibility of framing a petition because there is no information available from Kulbhushan Jadhav, this really limits Kulbhushan Jadhav's options. Had this consular access been transparent, honest, and in the spirit of the ICJ verdict, he would have given some information based on which the petition could have been filed. But that becomes an impossibility now, which means India will have to exercise its other option, which is obviously to appeal again before the International Court of Justice. Hopefully, the Ministry of External Affairs would look into it.
Yes. Now, if Pakistan is so sure of their case against Kulbhushan Jadhav, what is it that they have to hide? Why is it that they cannot give unhindered, unimpeded access of Kulbhushan Jadhav to the Indian consulate there and basically allow him in a free and fair manner, Abhishek, to fight this case? If the Pakistanis believed their case was so strong, there was nothing to hide, but their actions actually completely tell a different story, which is what the Indian stand has been.
To the contrary.
That the entire matter has been coerced, that the so-called confession is coerced, that the moment Indian side begins to peel off the layers, the entire case might fall apart.
Exactly. So, Shivani, the Pakistanis know that their story is full of loopholes. They know that the confession is an extraction under coercion and duress. They know that if principles of transparency and basic human rights are applied, Kulbhushan Jadhav would be a free man, that their bluff would have been called had this consular access been in the spirit of the ICJ verdict, and that is why they have been obfuscating. It takes 12 requests to really let this consular access happen, and that too an exercise in futility. Why was a camera present? What is the problem with Pakistanis? It's basic rule of law, basic principle of law, which is taught in the first year of a law college around the world, including Pakistan, that the legal the legal the counsel of the client has to have an unimpeded and unhindered access. It's basic rule of law. I mean, the Pakistanis have behaved absolute goons in the manner in which they have conducted themselves by not letting even that basic principle of first year of law college be followed. I mean, what kind of machinery is this which flouts those basic principles and kind of pokes a finger in the eye of the International Court of Justice at The Hague? I believe if the matter really goes back in an appeal to the ICJ, it would be for the judges and the lordships there to see that the Pakistanis have really played truant. The Pakistanis have been dishonest, and they have played around with the words. They have indulged in double speak and double game, and not let Kulbhushan Jadhav exercise his human right, his basic right to have legal counsel. His statement is under duress. His consular access, the time he met with his family was from behind a glass, and it was recorded. Both the consular access teams, whenever they went twice, they were recorded. There were intimidating Pakistani agency officers present. So I believe the Pakistanis have really exposed themselves. And I hope, as I said, if we go back to the ICJ, even a stronger verdict might be in the offing for the Pakistanis.
Well, absolutely. Well, humanity, human rights is really not something that Pakistan, seems to understand, no matter what their Prime Minister says on international forums. This is really one typical affair that shows how they deal, not just within their country, but also, of course, of nationals of other countries in the name of law and order. Abhishek Kapoor, thanks a lot for joining us. This is a big update that we continue to track. What will be the response of the Indian side is awaited. Time for a very short break. On the other side, we continue to get you more news and updates.